First place in the Atlantic, first place in the Metropolitan. Carolina Hurricanes at Little Caesars Arena tonight. And a reminder, if you're going to the game, get there early. They want fans in the seats at 5:30 as they celebrate Sergei Fedorov, number 91. Finally, about damn time goes up in the rafters.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome night. And this wasn't part of your package, but are you going to find a way to go?
No.
Not even going to use the media credential?
I guess I could, weasel my way in or squirm my way.
Well, it's not weaseling your way in. You're just doing your job.
Absolutely, I could go. Yes. Yeah. Look, this has just been a really fun year from a vibes standpoint, right? You put Hockey Town back at the center. It's a 100-year celebration. The Centennial jerseys look phenomenal. They're actually winning hockey games. They're retiring 91. All of the things that would make you feel warm and fuzzy are happening right now. And again, they had a big win over the weekend. They beat Montreal 4-0. And I don't think anything's more symbolic of where they were for game one to where they are today than the play of John Gibson. He got chased in his very first Red Wings start in game one of the season. Now he goes on the road and pitches a shutout. And he's been great. His last, since December 1st, 12-2, .930 save percentage. It's unbelievable what he's done. He and the defense in front of him have improved, and now the Red Wings are playing much better hockey. So everybody's feeling good. Tonight should be a fun night at Little Caesars Arena. All right, John, yesterday, NFL playoffs are going on. Aidan Hutchinson was doing a media hit. He was on ESPN for their Sunday NFL Countdown. And he was asked about the one thing the Lions need to improve on for next season. We're going to play that for you, and we want to know if you agree with him. Let's play it, Greg. Can we play Aidan Hutchinson?
Sure, that will help.
Is that the number one thing this team needs to do for next season? Get healthy?
No, they need to play better. And it's execution on the field because, yes, the secondary was beat up. There's no question about that. And so if we're just sitting here talking about teams that are putting 400 yards through the air on the defense, that would be, I think, the number one reason why that would happen. But that's not the case. That's not what Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers did. It's not what Minnesota did. Minnesota, how many passing yards did Minnesota have?
3.
3. No. And where were there not injuries?
Front seven.
The front seven. Mm-hmm. Plus, we had a Pro Bowl All-Pro linebacker, and we had a second-team All-Pro edge defender. Yet those two guys can't do it all. And so the front seven was healthy, yet they couldn't stop the run when they needed to against the better teams. So, no, it's not just, and I said this earlier, if last year you can't sit there and say injuries were the reason you lost to Washington. I don't care. You should have been able to beat Washington. Now, if you lost to Philly in the NFC Championship game, it goes from a reason, from an excuse to a reason, because of the way Philly was built last year and the way that they were playing. With those type of injuries, I don't think you were going to be competitive against the Philadelphia Eagles. But against Washington, it was simply an excuse. You should have beaten Washington.
Yeah, when Aidan says injuries are the number one thing we got to fix for next season, it's a cop-out. I'm watching San Francisco overcome as many key injuries as anybody in football. An elite interior linebacker in Fred Warner. One of the best pass rushers in football in Nick Bosa. I mean, guys, they missed Kittle in the game, but didn't have Ayuk or Pearsall for that game. They missed half the year with their starting quarterback. Injuries are not a valid excuse for the Lions. They're not. If you're the gritty football team you say you are, if it's next man up, you do what the San Francisco 49ers just did. You go on the road and win a playoff game. For all the talk of, they're only here because they played a last place schedule. It helps. It'll help the Lions next year. But what they just did is go on the road and beat the defending champs in Philadelphia. That's gritty. That's next man up. That's not using injuries as a crutch or an excuse. So when Aidan says it, I think it's a cop-out. I think the problems are deeper than that. It's not just get healthy and the Lions are going to be right back in Super Bowl contention. They got to get that gritty identity back that we see with San Francisco.
Because we saw them last year be able to muster 15 wins in the regular season. And that was with the first place schedule. Mm-hmm. That was with an unbelievable number of injuries at every level on defense, and yet they were still able to make that happen. And then this year, where it's really only one position or one level of the defense, and it wasn't a level that was, it got exposed against other teams, but it wasn't the reason that they were losing.
Right. Detroit lost to the Minnesota Vikings twice. They lost to Brosmer. You want to talk about injuries? Minnesota would put their hand up in the air and go, we didn't have our starting quarterback. Right? Pittsburgh would say we didn't have our offensive line intact and we still ran for 200 yards. Like, everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's got injuries. And for Detroit to miss the playoffs, injuries can't be the number one reason. That can't be the number one thing they improve on this offseason. If you want to be a gritty, tough football team, John, I think you would echo this. It starts on the offensive line. That's their biggest issue for the offseason. If they get tougher, meaner, better, start moving people in the run game, all of a sudden that grit's going to be there. Converting tough third and shorts and fourth and shorts and red zone spots. That's going to make them a better football team. They're going to be gritty. They're going to convert. They're going to win. Getting healthy. Cool. Let's put Brian Branch on this team. Let's put Kirby Joseph fully healthy back on this team. It doesn't change that their biggest issue is still on the offensive line. 248-539-9797. Do you agree with Aidan? Are injuries, are they a legitimate reason why the Lions aren't in the playoffs? Or is it an excuse? Let's get to the phones. Let's get to Nick and Flint. You're on 97.1.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Second-time caller, 15-year listener. My biggest takeaway for the weekend before you guys got to the Hutchinson deal is that Caleb Williams. I don't know if you guys have mentioned this. What a lively arm. That guy, in my opinion, is the future of the quarterbacks in the NFL. I was very impressed, and I'll let you guys talk.
The throw he made on 4th and 8, rolling to his left to Rome Odunze with the game on the line, is one of the great throws in NFL playoff history. Now, the only reason it's not higher is it's in the first round, but that's their season on the line. And he made some wild plays in that game, John. He's just scratching the surface. He's going to be a problem in this division for years to come.
He is. And one of the things, and we saw this throughout training camp, and we all thought, it was the videos coming out of training camp in regards to, well, he can't even hit the net or any of the targets that he's throwing to. But over the course of the year, over the course of time, working with Ben Jansen, and one of the things Ben Jansen was known for here was the attention to detail. Mm-hmm. It was all of the little things that made the difference, and maybe that's the issue this year is the attention to details. We talked about that with penalties and other things, but especially at the quarterback position. Now, Jared Goff was fine this year.
Yes.
He was actually really good.
I think so, too.
But watching Caleb Williams grow with a quarterback coach that is zeroed in on everything that the quarterback has to do, I think he's going to be a problem in the division now that he's being coached as such.
Look, you could point to a lot of reasons the Lions weren't playing. You could say it was coaching. You could say it was the offensive line eroding. I don't think you can say injuries, not with what San Francisco's doing right now. 248-539-9797. By the way, John in Westland, congrats on the Red Wing tickets. It's 97.1.